Hello, do you like Warthunder? Because I do. The key thing I love about this game is how it manages to scratch the itch I have left from so many great games over the years that over time have either become unsupported, a bit too aged, or the player base just no longer exists for them. Titles such as Battle Stations Midway and Pacific, Blazing Angels, Over G Fighters and Secret Weapons over Normandy, just to name a few. Growing up, I was surrounded by toys and media of various vehicles and aircraft, which I came to love, and Warthunder is a game that allows me to not only add these iconic vehicles to my virtual collection, but to fly, sail and drive them in a simulated environment. Why am I talking about this? Well, for some of us, the point of playing the game isn't just to progress, it's to be able to access the iconic machines we hold dear. Sadly, although the game may work very well for some, the scope of gameplay offered is relatively narrow. Dominating aerial dogfighting, naval cluster jousting and symmetrical ground assaults are all well and good, but as the game grows and develops, I keep thinking there could be so much more the game has to offer. The following is my dream for an expansive game mode featuring air and naval units in a PvEVP setting heavily inspired by Eidos Studios' Battle Stations game series. Let's start by taking an existing map as an example. How about Dover Strait? We take this air simulator Enduring Confrontation map and add naval port positions along the coast. These will have heavy land-based gun defences and minefield protection. They will always be used to spawn any and all naval units players choose to play. For objectives, yes, of course you can just hunt other players, but I'm suggesting that we add additional key objectives, much in the same way Air Simulator EC already offers, and not necessarily requiring enemy players in the match to start the game. These alternate primary objectives exist in the form of the following for both teams: attack and supply convoys, coastal assault support, unique ship or fleet hunts, and land installation capture. The convoys will consist, as they already do, of several utility vessels and maybe a couple of destroyer escorts. They will spawn heading from various points of your team's side to landing areas on the opposing team's coast. Points will be gained by being in their proximity for both naval and air units for defenders and for the sinking of vessels for attackers. When a landing area has received at least one intact convoy ship, a landing will commence. Similar to how skirmishes do in most air modes, ground emplacements and vehicles will spawn. When one side is completely wiped out, that operation will either succeed or fail, scoring points for the appropriate team. During the course of the match, both teams will launch an AI-controlled capital ship or small flotilla, which will roam areas of the map, becoming a hazard to players, convoys and landings alike. Points will be awarded to each team for eliminating this threat. Lastly, a system of island capture is also present. Certain islands or areas of land can be captured by vessels in close proximity for X amount of time. These islands may have installations that become available, such as auxiliary airfields for friendly aircraft to rearm and refuel, or radar stations. This ties neatly into my next concept of radar and visual range. All of the above objectives will not be readily displayed on your map, as they currently are in similar modes. Instead, allied units will have a visual range overlay that objectives, allies and enemies will need to be within to be positively identified. The transmission range of information will be dependent on an individual unit's radio range. In addition to the visual range characteristic, various ships, aircraft and land installations will also have a radar detection range, if they are equipped with such equipment. The radar being able to reach further than visual range and through poor weather, which would reduce the visual range of other units, but not being able to positively identify what or who that unit is. My hope is that this would invite cooperation, teamwork, and be a fantastic utilisation of ship-based recon aircraft and flying boats. This is, in essence, my concept for a naval action style game mode within Warthunder, utilising many already existing game mechanics. I do like this game, but I can't get it out of my head that there is so much untapped potential. Warthunder already has practically no competition in this genre of game. Nothing else even comes close to this realistic yet approachable style of gameplay and mechanical complexity, whilst also featuring so many fixed-wing aircraft, rotary-wing aircraft, naval vessels and ground forces. I honestly feel that giving players this style of game mode would be so helpful for garnering more interest in naval, especially allowing for a potential move towards a greater PvE focus, where you're not struggling against those with better equipment and awkward battle ratings. I do have some further notes regarding my thoughts on the addition of new vessel types if a mode like this were to be added, chiefly carriers and submarines. Taking a quick look at Battle Station Specific, it's easy to see where my concepts are coming from here. Starting with the carriers, there's three things I'd like to speak about: loadouts, units, and tactical command. Firstly, I propose that carriers allow you to select what class and number of aircraft you'll have aboard at the start of the match, such as fighters, bombers, torpedo bombers, etc. The various aircraft will be launched pre-equipped with weaponry that you outfit in your hangar before joining a match. Possibly, it might be a fun characteristic to unlock different aircraft variants for selection based on what you have unlocked in that respective nation's air tree. The units themselves will be launched under AI control in groups of 3 individual aircraft. Only when all 3 aircraft have been destroyed does that unit count as having been lost. The number of units you can launch depends on the vessel's aircraft hold capacity. When too many aircraft have been lost, you will have to return to port to restock. Lastly, the tactical command of your airborne units. My idea is that we take what has just been added with the multi-vehicle SAMs and apply this here as if the aircraft are the missiles and the targets are the detected threats. A target, whether it be airborne, naval or land-based, can be selected and an individual or multiple units assigned to attack it. The units will travel towards the target, expend all of their ammunition, and then head back to land and be restored back to the hold, ready to be launched again. In the case of a unit still having ammunition remaining, it will circle the area until instructed to do otherwise, assigned a new target, or told to return to base. This would be most relevant for the fighters. In the event a carrier is lost whilst it has multiple units in the air, those units will conclude their immediate attacks and then return to the nearest airfield, restoring a small portion of spawn points if successful. In regards to submarines, they will quite simply start their matches like most other vessels. However, they may have allied tender ships at a marked location on the map, being able to repair damage and rearm when stopped in proximity with these ships. These ships, of course, would be a bonus objective for the opposing team to eliminate. My absolute last and final wish would be for an adjustment to how AI anti-air gunnery functions on ships. Having a degree of dispersion added so that an anti-air screen is achieved more than a torrent of relatively accurate gunfire. This would make it a bit more challenging for a single ship to achieve effective AA cover, further prompting teamwork as well as making for a much more cinematic experience when attacking ships from the air. I know that there must be more people out there that would love to see something like this added to the game. I find myself dreaming more and more about what War Thunder could be. As in its current state, it is not a bad game by any means, but I feel like it could be so much more. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. Have a wonderful day.